In this video, I'm going to talk about AdeptiCon 2017 and try to show you a little bit of the stuff that I brought back. So I got back from AdeptiCon 2017 about 3 weeks ago almost at this point. And, well, I mean, what can I say? I had a great time, of course. I always do. AdeptiCon is, in my opinion, the best convention for wargamers to go to anywhere in America. It's this year it had its biggest year ever. I believe I'd heard that it was near 4,000 people, and that's over 4 days. That is in a relatively small suburb of Chicago, Schaumburg, Illinois, and it was tournaments, and it was seminars, and it was demos, and people. The people were really, for me, the big draw. Going and talking to many of you, I stopped and shook hands and talked with people and some pictures and things like that, and it was great. It's great to see the people, we're all on the same page, you know what I mean? You go to this gaming convention, and gaming conventions are great, but this is a specific type of gaming convention, and we're all into that specific type. So I mentioned it to some people at the convention. It's kind of like you're into trout fishing. You can go to a fishing convention, but if you go to a trout fishing convention, you're all really into the same thing. You go to the regular fishing convention, let's say Gen Con, for an example, you may be next to people who fish for other things, they fish in different ways. When you go to Gen Con, you've got RPG people, CCG people, whatever, and that's fine, but when you go to AdeptiCon, it's everybody's on the same page. Everybody's there to play war games. Almost everybody paints, or at least builds, or does something like that. So you've got something in common with so many people. And this year, the vendor hall was humongous. In the past, the vendor hall has always been not huge. It was due to the way that they took compensation, from what I understand. From what I understand, the way you got a booth at Adepticon in the past was you had to give them product to put into the swag bag. So it wasn't that you were so much paying for a booth as it was you were trading product for booth space. I believe that to be the case. This year they've decided that they don't need to do that anymore, so now people pay for booths, which means that companies that couldn't really give something in trade, companies that do services, companies that make very big things like mats, those companies now can just basically buy a booth and then be selling stuff. So the vendor area was at least twice as big this year as it has been in the past. It was amazing, and well, frankly, because it was so big and because there were so many people selling amazing things, I brought back a crazy amount of stuff, FYI. So I'm going to try to run through as much of it here quickly as possible and just kind of let you know about some of the stuff. And again, this is not all of it, which, is kind of a sad thing, but the fact of the matter is that this is not all of it. So it wouldn't be Adepticon, if there wasn't somebody there selling some models. I bought a bunch of models this year. There's a company called ProDOS Games. They make a game called Warzone. They also make a game called Aliens vs. Predator, AVP. I bought some of their models just because I thought they were really cool and I want to paint them. These are some capital light infantry. I don't really know anything about the game, but I like the models. The thing that's interesting about that company in specific, ProDOS Games, and I'm going to do a video about it later on, is they've started a new... What's the word I'm looking for? They've started a new technology, okay? And for resin, let me open this real quick. So this is a box with 3 resin models in it. They're Imperial Headhunters. And they may have this new technology that he mentioned at the booth, but he couldn't tell me anything about it. It's called Unity molding, I believe. And if I can figure out how to get the box open here. The thing that's interesting about it is that these models come put together. Now, it's not that somebody sat down and put the models together. It's that these are resin models that are all one piece. This is a guy, and I'll try to set in a picture here real quick. Whoops. But this is a single piece model. It's on the base already. The base is already textured. As a person who understands how resin models are made with a 2-part mold, this shouldn't happen. And there's basically no mold lines either. So, like I said, probably a video down the road about new technologies in modeling and production of such said models. And I'm going to talk about these guys when that time comes, I assure you. Let's see here. I also got some great post-apocalyptic models from Eden. This is Dante's Angels, and this is a post-apocalyptic game with very stylized war bands. These, I believe, are metal, and these are kind of like biker people, which I thought, I mean, they were like crazy, scary clown gangs, which, yeah, really, after the apocalypse, are you going to have a clown gang? That seems like a lot of work. But, you know, people with, you know, on bikes with guns, that makes sense to me. So I picked these up because these are super cool. And then I also, from Gaddis Gaming, these are a bunch of 28 millimeter United States World War II metal models. So not everything is plastic, not everything is resin. Every different type of, you know, material that models can be made out of, you're going to find at AdeptiCon. I also picked up at the Bits trading area on Friday or Saturday night. This is Grack and Crumbleberry, and they're a Star Blood Bowl player duo. This is from Forge World, and for whatever reason, it was cheaper than it would if I just would have gone downstairs and bought it at Forge World. I don't know why, but that's how it works. Sometimes when you get a good deal, and that's the type of thing that you can find at the Bits trading area as well. I'm going to run out of space, so I got to hurry it up. Bought some Vallejo splash mud and engine effects, basically. Like, these things I can't find anywhere near me. Any hobby shop around here does not sell these special effects that you can get from Vallejo. This is a little bottle of dark brown surface primer, which I use on stuff like Skaven. It's perfect for that. Put it into the airbrush, spray it on there. And, you know, you don't know what the color really looks like sometimes when you buy the stuff online, so going and being able to pick things up at the convention, it's always a great time. I also picked up a straight line laser pointer from Army Painter, where you just, it's like, it's not just a point that you use with the cat to, you know, chase it. It makes a line, which the cat will also chase. I've tested it upstairs. But the fact is that these are kind of cool things, and you can find these in a lot of different shops, but I don't ever find them around here. So, and then there's also some stuff I got from Games and Gears. So this is a new set of the Games and Gears brushes. They do a lot of different brush sets, and I bought some in the past from them at previous Adepticons. They come in a cool travel pouch. And they come, and they look like a pen almost. And what you do is you separate them like that, and then put it together, and now you've got your paintbrush. These are all synthetic. This particular set, which is called the Extreme XV, or probably Extreme 15, I don't know, one of the two. These are synthetics that are designed for painting with metallics, because natural brushes don't stand up to metallic wear and tear as well, so these do. And that's why I picked these up. I also picked up a clippers. Now, I've already got a clippers but that doesn't come in a pouch though, does it? I've got a clippers for, you know, when you're taking things off the sprue, but this is really heavy duty, yet also tiny. This is also from Games and Gears. And it's very, I don't know, it's very precision, but small. I can throw it into something and I'm not worried about it, you know, poking a hole through my book bag or whatever like that. So, I had never even seen other companies that make these types of things. I've just got something that I got from the hardware store. But Games and Gears made a cool little accessory that I also was able to pick up because, you know, I was walking by and it was right there on the table. Laser cut terrain. Laser cut terrain is huge if you're, you know, paying attention. And I picked up a couple different pieces of laser cut. The very first thing that I bought on Thursday when I got to Adepticon was something from Lasercraft Workshop. And it is basically it's like a Tudor style house that I'm going to build and then kind of sort of screw up, so it's like, you know, kind of ruined, and then paint after that. And then on the complete opposite end of the spectrum, I also, from Death Ray Designs, picked up these cool, they're shipping containers, they're like sci-fi shipping containers, and there's MDF laser cut parts in here, and then there's also these kind of like little cardboard boxes you fold to fill up the majority of the thing, so you don't have to do the entire thing in MDF. And they even come with stencils so that you can paint directly, like airbrush cool designs directly onto the shipping containers. It's just an amazing thing in my opinion, and I'm really glad to see the stuff that Death Ray Designs is putting out, so I had to pick some of this stuff up as well. Tokens. Age of Sigmar tokens from Broken Egg Games. These are +1 save, +2 wound, just like every different possibility in Age of Sigmar, they're in here. There's 80-some different tokens in here, and many of them are double-sided. So I think I'm probably good for tokens now in Age of Sigmar. And again, these are things that sometimes you don't know about, and then you come across it. And I was just looking at all their stuff, and most of the stuff that they do at Broken Egg is aimed a little bit more towards the War Machine crowd, but yeah, they're starting to move into Age of Sigmar as well, and this was one of their, I think, earliest kind of kits for Age of Sigmar, so I had to pick these up because these were super cool. Like I said, 80 plus pieces in here, so I've got to find something big to put these in. At one point, I was going upstairs to the hotel room, and a bunch of people were in the elevator, and there was a guy, and he was holding this big tray in front of him and had his entire War Machine army on it, and he had been at a tournament, and he was going back upstairs probably to drop off his army, and he had this box, this unopened shrink wrap box, precariously balanced on his like chin, basically, and it looked, I thought he was going to drop something. And someone asked him about the box, and he's like, "Oh, I don't know. Someone just kind of gave it to me." And the guy said, "Oh, is it World War II?" And I said, "Well, no, because it was Team Yankee." I said, "No, it's technically alternate history World War III," and I tried to explain a little bit about how it's based off of a novel and all that kind of stuff. And then the guy who had asked if it was World War II was like, "Oh," and wasn't very interested, and then got off the next floor. And then the guy who was sitting there and holding all of the stuff like this was like, do you want this Team Yankee thing? So free Team Yankee, which is pretty cool. Charlie's Chieftains, it's a British armored squadron, and it's got some helicopters and some tanks in it. So yeah, that was just free from a guy. It wasn't like, like a company didn't give it to me. I didn't buy it. It was just, I was in the elevator at the right time. Entire rule systems. Okay, so this is the small rule book for Beyond the Gates of Antares. And this was in the swag bag. Okay, so this was free for pretty much anyone who got the swag bag at AdeptiCon. And then there was also the new Flames of War 4th edition. Also, mini rulebook, boom, right there in the swag bag. And then also, the big honkin' hardcover from, this is for Hordes. This is the Hordes hardcover for now what I believe this is for Mark III. It weighs a ton. It's a very heavy, thick book, hardcover, and this is from Privateer Press, also in the swag bag. One thing that was not in the swag bag, though, was this. This is a 30th anniversary reprint of the first edition 40K Rogue Trader rules. Evidently, you can't get it online. I don't know. I walked by him in the Forge World booth like all 3 days, and then on Sunday I was just looking at it, and I was like, gosh, these are really cool. I kind of wish I would get one. And then a friend of mine was like, oh, well, they're like $58. I thought they were going to be like 100 or more, but it was like $58, and so I had to get one. But it's got all the crazy old artwork, and the diagrams and the drawings of the weapons and all this stuff. And I remember a lot of this artwork from when I was playing first edition Space Hulk. So for me, this was kind of a nostalgia thing. Even though I never played Rogue Trader, I kind of needed to buy a copy of it. So I got a lot of models at Adepticon. But, once I get them painted and all finished and everything, I'm going to have to take nice pictures of them. So I got this from Table War. This is called a macro mat. And what it is it's 3 small neoprene mats that you can put in there. And they have different patterns on them, like kind of a nice sort of high school portrait background or like a blue sort of a thing. And there's like a cloudy, white to blue sort of fade. And there's a little frame. And you just put them on there. You set up some lights and you go to town. It's kind of like a light box, but it's much more portable. And it's also, you can have multiples set up at once. So you could shoot them on the brown and then shoot them on the blue and see which one you like better. And you don't have to completely swap out the backgrounds and everything like that. So I'm looking forward to doing a bunch of shooting with this and showing you guys a lot of stuff. You'll see it in the probably in the Facebook group, the Tabletop Minions Paint Showcase Club. You'll see a bunch of stuff from this coming up pretty soon. A bunch of the stuff that I've been getting painted, and then some of these things, hopefully, once they get painted. So a lot of models, a lot of painting, a lot of photography, and where are you going to put those models when you get done? You're going to put them in a Citadel art case. Now, because I had the VIG, which is a very important gamer, swag bag, this was it wasn't in the swag bag. It wouldn't fit in the swag bag, but this came with the swag bag. This is a big, hard plastic case. It's airtight. It has a valve on it in case you can't open it because the pressure builds up or whatever. It has the normal foam on the inside that GW makes, that kind of zigzaggy sort of stuff. I don't know if you can see that or not, but yeah, it's in there, and there's a bunch of it, and yeah, this just came with the VIG, setup for Adepticon. When I got there, I was like, oh, that's really, and they just kept giving me stuff, and I was like, okay, and yeah. So now I've got something to keep my models in if I don't break everything else first. One of the last things I'm going to quickly go over is something else that was in the VIG. It was also in the regular swag bag. Basically everybody that got a swag bag at Adepticon came home with a copy of Rune Wars. Rune Wars is the new unpainted fantasy battle game from Fantasy Flight Games. Well, when Adepticon happened, it was nowhere near even being in stores yet. I believe as you're watching this, it has actually now just gotten into stores where you could buy it. But pretty much everybody who got the regular swag bag or the VIG swag bag got a copy of this. I haven't opened it yet. I'm not sure if I'm going to do a unboxing or something like that. I wanted to get into a demo of it pretty much all 4 days. And every time I would stop by the booth over at Fantasy Flight, all the demo places were full. So I would watch for a while and then come back and then it would still be full. So that I think it was a smart move on Fantasy Flight's because a lot of the people that are going to Adepticon are probably what we call alpha gamers, and they're going to take this back to their hometowns, and then they're going to show it off, and maybe it'll help. You know what I mean? So I don't know a ton about it other than the little bit that I got to watch during the demos. But yeah, like I said, this is the type of stuff that really makes it kind of worthwhile to be able to go to Adepticon. And it's not just being able to buy a bunch of stuff, spend a bunch of money, or even getting free stuff, well, free-ish, within your swag bag or whatever. It's all that, plus it's, again, like I said, it's the people. It's sitting down, and talking to people, playing games with people that you don't know necessarily, but you all have the same love for tabletop wargaming. You can be standing in line to get a hot dog at the concession stand and ask the person next to you, oh, so what do you play? Oh, well, I like to do this. Oh, that's cool. I used to play that, or I haven't played that in a while, or I still play that now, or whatever. And you can go back and forth, talk about painting tips or whatever. And that's not something that we can do as a group of people, really, most of the rest of the time. When you go to your local gaming shop, or if you're in a gaming club or whatever, you can talk about it then. But being able to go and meet new people, I've made friendships with people who don't live anywhere near here, but I've met them at Adepticon, and then we've stayed in touch through the magic of social media and stuff like that. And we see each other every year, and it's worked out great. So again, I know I sound like a broken record, but you should make your way to Adepticon. Get your ass to Adepticon next year, 2018, because I have a suspicion it's going to be even bigger and possibly maybe even better. So why don't you start saving your money now and see what you can do? And if you can, I hope I can see you then.